Okay friends, it's time to get started on our ignition coil. Of course, that's going to be located towards the driver's side front of the engine, right here. You can see you have 6 spark plug wires sitting up on top of it. Now the next thing we're going to want to do is go ahead and start taking all of these spark plug wires off of here. It's important to remember the location of each of them. If you need to mark them with something such as tape or a marker, go ahead and do so. Now the markings I made don't necessarily refer to the cylinder that these lead to. They're just markings so I remember exactly where they go. To start removing the wires, let's go ahead and grab onto these 2 tabs. Once you squeeze those, you can tell that it becomes unlocked. After that, go ahead and give it a little twist, lifting up at the same time. It should want to pop right off of there. Once you have it off, just give it a quick inspection. You want to make sure you don't see any funny colors. If you do, it's corrosion and it would need to be dealt with. That looks fine. You can go ahead and set it aside. Finish up by doing all the rest. Now that we have all those out of the way, let's continue on along the back side of the coil. You're going to find a wiring harness. For the wiring harness, you're going to find a tab right up along the top. Just go ahead and grab onto that with your thumb and gently lift it up. Obviously, you don't want to break it. Once you have it lifted up, it should be unlocked. You can go ahead and slide it right off of there. Quick inspection. Set that aside. Now we can move along to our 4 7mm mounting bolts. Looking at the front passenger side one, you can tell that there's a little metallic bracket with some wiring that leads to it. We'll just go ahead and remove that. We'll give this a quick inspection and we can set that aside. With the last bolt out of there, you can carefully grab onto the unit. We're going to give it a little wiggle to break it free. There it is, friends. Now, before we continue on with our installation, the next thing you want to think about is the bracket where the ignition coil needs to mount. I'm just going to go ahead and clean this down. You want a nice flat surface so you get plenty of grounding making its way through this. Once you have it sanded down, continue on with a little bit of copper never seize on each one of the 4 mounting holes. Now we can get our ignition coil installed. Let's go ahead and rest it into position. Now before we go ahead and put in our mounting bolts, let's sand down both sides of this. All right, now that we have both sides of this clean, let's go ahead and mount this to the vehicle. Now at this point, I'm going to start in all 4 of my mounting bolts. Once all of them are hand threaded in, I can continue on by tightening them up. Reconnect in your electrical connector. Listen for a click, give it a tug. You want to make sure this is 100% secure. It's very important. Now let's continue on with a little bit of dielectric grease. I'm just going to take a little bit of that dielectric and I'm going to come inside of each one of these ports. This is going to help make sure that there's no moisture in the area. Now it's time to put our wires back on there. Make sure you put them back on the original position. As you press them down, you want to pay attention to each one of the locking ears. If you have one locked in, it might seem like it's good, but you need to double check to make sure they are both locked in. It's very important. All right, I'm just going to double check my markings. I know for sure I have these in the proper position. I'll do the same along the front. Now at this point, I'm just going to double check every single one. Like I said, it's very important to make sure both clips for each are locked down. At this point, you're clear to go ahead and start up the vehicle, let it run for a little while. Make sure you don't have a check engine light. After that, take it for a road test. Thanks for watching.